This is here the all-new VW T-Roc. It's now basically a smaller Tiguan. And VW is also attacking Toyota because this one will be the first one with a true inbuilt hybrid in the whole corporation. A lot of interesting news to come here with Thomas and ergoActive in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with the all-new generation T-Roc. And wait a minute, this face here with the connected light design, also with the lamps and with the hood, kind of similar to recent Mercedes or smart EV design, don't you think so as well? But of course, there's also a regulation that if you want to illuminate a logo in the EU market, then you have to connect it with these light strips to the headlamps. That's a kind of strange regulation. But you see the main change to the previous generation is that it's more aerodynamic in the look, especially here in the front. This is also an R-Line vehicle. The base or the style would also look similar with open design here like this, but this one, the R-Line, more high gloss black. You can see here all the way also to the sides, so this is then the sportier look. The color here, it's a new launch color called Canary Yellow, so reminding of the canaries, or in this case more of the canary birds actually. And then here the new length, that's why I'm also saying small Tiguan, is now at 4 meters 37 or 172 inches. That means it gained 12 centimeters or 5 inches in length, moving it closer to the Tiguan, so to speak, but there will be still some differences. For example, the suspension, it's the base suspension, but optional also the DCC, the adaptive suspension. However, this is the one valve system, whereas the Tiguan in the new generation gets the two valve system. So there they have the different positioning of the vehicles because there will still also be a price difference. Later more to the prices. These are 20-inch wheels, are the biggest ones available, and also in high gloss black because this vehicle is not only equipped with the R-Line but also with the black package. By the way, the wheel arches are not painted in high gloss black. This is a recent trend we see with a lot of vehicles. Here they did not do it because they say that these more simple wheel arches would look better over a longer period of time when there are some scratches and so on and so on. Looking forward to your feedback. One difference with the black pack, not only the high gloss black wheels, but also here, this bow that goes around the vehicle is here completely in black. And this element would be in silver if you do not have the black pack. That's the main difference. Very prominent also here, this last pillar, how it stands upright like this. Looking forward to your comments, what you think about this new length. Slightly increase in wheelbase, about 3 centimeters, and that will also be for the legroom. We'll soon find out more about that in the interior. Obviously, you also get some different light options, like the Matrix LED IQ light. And then you also have here the rear all the way in the top spec. Light strip goes through, also with the red illuminated logo. That looks actually quite cool and modern. And here then also with the black T-Roc lettering here in the R-Line. And you see here, the ergoActive fake exhaust police. If you want a t-shirt like this or also some of our other merch, then feel free to leave me a message and we can get you a good discount. Here on the lower end, the question is, does it have a fake exhaust? Actually, no. So no job for the ergoActive fake exhaust police, a sporty R-Line lower bumper right here. And of course, big news as for the engines. I'm gonna talk about that. This is basically a front wheel base platform. There will also be all-wheel drive models. This is then front plus rear on demand. But let's start a little bit lower with the entry-level versions. So this car will start with the 1.5e TSI. This is an MHEV engine. 115 or 150 horsepower, front-wheel drive. Mild hybrid means there's an additional smaller battery here in the front and you have like some recuperation possible, but there's no electric driving moments. It just helps with the consumption a little bit. And then from end 2026, there will be the new true inbuilt hybrids. Maybe they will call it twin engine, a name they have already used, like 10, 15 years ago. We'll see about that. But these new HEVs, they will also feature the 1.5 TSI, so the same base engine, but then comes with a high voltage battery, which is placed under the rear bench, supposed to be changing nothing as for the rear bench. And then you also get different horsepower outputs, like 136 horsepower system output and 170 horsepower. And there you will also have electric driving moments, and Volkswagen promises that they will be 15% more efficient or less fuel consumption in comparison to the MHEV engines. Yeah, we'll see about that also with the pricing, how that one plays out. And also the stronger engines, which is then again the MHEV, the 2-liter TSI, also coming by the end of 2026. They are then a 2-liter 4-cylinder with 200 or 250 horsepower roughly. And on top of that, I can already promise you an R version, that probably with like 300 horsepower plus. So whereas the Tiguan will not receive an R version in new generation, this one here, the T-Roc, will get an R version. That's actually pretty cool. Some paint would have been left here, right? So maybe we see it's different in the final version, that there's more paint underneath though. Some say I couldn't care less. I do care. What about you? But we have some nice dampening here from the engine. No gas struts, however, yeah, always depending on how often you really want to open these. So definitely also looking forward to drive the normal one, then soon keeping you updated with the new hybrid engines, and of course on top of that then also by the end of 2026 the true R version, which will always be a blast to drive. Similar driving experience like a Golf R, just a little bit higher, so to speak. Now towards the interior, by the way, this one will receive illuminated door handles that you can also see where are you grabbing in at night. As I stated. But to me the main point is that it has still classic door handles, which are totally fine, and I prefer these here. Then door closing sound, solid in the front, solid in the rear, like that. Then inside of the doors with a new surprise coming up very soon here. Top button in the front is a little bit soft. And then there's also new ambient lighting integration, for example. This like a leatherette here, and also for your elbow well. Could be a little bit softer, I would say. Classic window lever controls, like to see that. This here now a new system for open and close, like this. And there we go. This is the new inside door handle. Looks complicated, but is actually quite easy. And I mean, yeah, I think it's an interesting idea. They wanted to make something different. They said they were inspired from some solutions on the Chinese market by that. Yeah, so this is the way then to open, and also a manual way. And you can argue pro and con. You can say like, hey, doing something new, doing something unique. Then again, you can also say, why invent something new that worked before, you know? And yeah, I think the Audi solution also interesting, where they just made the normal door handle not like from this way up, but from the top way down, and you do it. That was also quite nice. This one, I'm not sure yet. I think we have to test it just in everyday driving to to see it. And then here inside of the doors, hard pack here, but there's at least a felt cover here on the bottom part that maybe sunglass cover don't fly around that much. R-Line entry badge. If you have that R-Line here, then you also have the R-Line steering wheel. And still manual buttons at the steering wheel, no hashtag capacitive BS. That's cool to see. The R-Line also has the perforation here. Steering wheel material is always animal based. They do not offer as like an alternative to that one yet. The seat here, R-Line seat with some microfiber here, then fabric on the inside in a special pattern, and leatherette on the outside. A base seat would be pure fabric. This one, the R-Line seat with this semi-integrated head restraint, because you can have it completely like down there, and it looks, where is it to put down again? Ah, there it is. So all the way down, but you can also pull it up. That's also possible, so it's adjustable. And then there's also the ergoActive seat, which is standard for the style. This one's supposed to be the best as for ergonomics, also with seat massage and so on. There you see this like a blind button. This will be the seat massage button in the middle then for the ergoActive seat. And on top of that, you could also get a seat has a mix of leatherette and animal skin. So they are also not very consistent approach from Volkswagen. But then if you pick that seat, then you basically delete the ergoActive seat. So not to be recommended also as for the comfort. And here with 1m89, 6'2". There we go, some headroom left. This is here the panoramic roof, and we turn on the ignition, we can see we can actually still open that one. So yeah, rarely do we see that nowadays. Everyone's going for fixed. Oh, this is actually quite substantial, this opening. And next to that, we have also a shade available. Look at that. So when it's really, really hot. The only downside is that we have these sliders only. So definitely definitely like slider only thing. Yeah, but you also don't have to go for it. If you like, there's one available. And the steering wheel here, up and down, in and out in a manual way. And talking about the panoramic roof, by the way, you might wonder, will there be a T-Roc convertible in this new generation here? Let me just quickly think about this. No, it won't. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the whole corporation, they all deleted the convertible. Even Audi deleted all the convertibles. We ourselves, me especially, I'm an absolute convertible lover. And we also drove the T-Roc convertible on some like holiday trips as a rental car and so on. It's actually a quite nice vehicle, quite cool idea. But obviously it doesn't pay off enough. So the general seating comfort is already quite good here in the R-Line seats, so I like it. Also offers enough support, especially at the side bolsters and so on, without caging you in too much. And welcome then here to this new cockpit in the new generation of the T-Roc, which features, as standard, a fabric surface on the dashboard, and it's also like plush underneath. I think it's an interesting idea. Some say it catches too much dust, so probably I would prefer like a high-grade leatherette surface than here for the dashboard, but it's also at least something different, so to speak. New Harman Kardon sound system, by the way. We see here additional speakers already at the inside here of the A pillars. This is of course an option, like the panoramic roof is an option. And let's begin here with the details. Here, glove box, very nicely dampened, so folds down smoothly. Also good closing sound. This one is here, a leatherette surface on this lower dashboard. Then we always have a 13-inch infotainment screen. We know it from other Volkswagens. And here you also have these practical hotkeys in the top part. For example, you press here once and then you directly can deactivate some of the assistance systems like this. But you can also put some individual hotkeys in the top part. So even quicker, you can directly put the speed warning deactivation in the top layer there. Lower middle console, we have outside here with some leatherette-like material that's rather hard, 2 USB-C chargers, then inductive charging pad, and you can see here in detail some people there. I was like, what do you want to say? Like, these are people stuck in the Matrix? Oh no, and then I was looking twice and see, oh, this is like a Olympic swimming pool where they do like, you know, like their swimming stuff. Yeah, I mean, interesting idea. So someone must have looked at this one and, wait, couldn't these be like the, you know, like the swimming lines in the Olympic pool? Interesting, isn't it? Then here you have this multi-purpose button. This can be volume, but you also press it and then you can select the driving modes here. And this is especially important if you have the DCC, the dynamic chassis control, which is also equipped with this vehicle. How do I know that? Because the infotainment system shows me, and I can also set my individual mode and put it way sporty or to the most comfortable setting. And my favorite setting is always suspension comfort, but steering to sport, that I have a little bit more steering feedback. And that is also possible then here if you have picked the DCC as an option. Yeah, you know how that's going. Optional Matrix LED, optional DCC, optional panoramic roof, optional Harman Kardon sound system. That's VW Corporation. Yeah. And then here, lower middle console, we have some matte surface here, which I do prefer because then we don't have so much annoying high gloss black. And it also feels pretty nice. It's cool. The cup holders are somewhat adaptive because you can adapt the size. And now Leah is thinking, her big Ovala, is Ovala, yeah? Cup with, the girls, they want to have like this super, can size drinking boxes here now. And yeah, you can adjust to any size here basically. Then soft here for your elbow. I think it's enough soft, so to speak, better than the inside of the doors. And this could also be like a whole large area, for, I don't know, what could you fit in there? Maybe even like a small handbag or something would even be possible, I would say. And switch gear, important. Here, parking and front drive reverse, like in the new VW ID models, for example. And then you have 10-inch instruments. Then the driver POV, once again, I can only applaud them for using real buttons. That's a lovely thing to do. Then the new 10-inch instruments. You can also change the view here a little bit. There's also a map view that is possible. There we go. And this is my favorite view with the digital analog RPM meter. Yeah, this is the way. And the head-up display now in the windshield available. And the main infotainment system. I talked about the hotkeys on the top there. And it's quicker than before, I would say, has more functions. These sliders are also illuminated. At least you have these sliders and don't have to do everything here, but you could also do it in the screen right here. I do prefer the manual climate unit, but at least it's quite intuitive to control. And then on the top left there, you can also have the main menu with the big tiles. So it's not too bad, and meanwhile they improved it a little bit. We're gonna follow up on that. And here, by the way, in this visualization, we can see the style of the T-Roc. I mean literally the style trim level with a different front grille, so not the R-Line, and also no black package. See here, this side is not black than this bow. Oh, and Leah discovered one more ambient light area here at the, below the knee pads, which are not too soft, by the way. And actually also at the inside of the doors, there's not, maybe you can see it a little bit there, but more to Leah's side than here. There we go. So there's the ambient lighting, new. You can,
and here also. Yep.
Ah, below there. Ah, hello there. And then here, also like a laser cutting through, looks like that. Then we have some lights and sun blinds. There we go. Cannot be extended though.
And here's some lights.
Touch lights in the top part. Yes. And this is because the doors. It does work also when the door is opened. Interesting. Okay. And the handles.
The handles here.
So in the front, yes, but
not in the back. Only the lights.
Not in the rear. Only another light in the rear. Yeah, there we go. And looking forward to your comments. Which part of the car shall Leah present you next? Yeah. So vote for that in the comments. Rear seats, first of all, inside of the door. Top part is hardback. Then we have a softer leatherette insert here. Also more speakers for the Harman Kardon sound system. It's also a little bit softer here for the elbow, but not too soft. And you also have this new door handle here from the inside for the rear seats as well, whatever you think about it. I mean, yeah, why not? And then here, hardback at the inside there, but there's like a felt bottom at least, here also at the rear doors. Then same seat pattern here, and that R-Line ISOFIX can be pushed in like this, and also then you can leave it in the car actually, that comes handy. Then you can fold down this here. Have some cup holders, they are not adaptive though. And then here you also have a rear climate unit for the temperature and two USB-C chargers. And when I am driving here as a tall adult, you can see here it barely fits, I would say. I already touch the seat here with my knees.
Massage for the back.
Yeah, this also, seat massage for the back, automatic seat massage. Talked about there is a seat massage available for the ergoActive seat, but this would be maybe if you don't have the ergoActive seat. And headroom here, this I think works also for tall adults. Here then with the panoramic roof, without maybe would be a little bit more. I mean, in general, the comfort is actually quite good. You sit upright, that's fine. It's just the limitation in legroom when you are traveling with tall people, definitely. And should you wonder, this is how it looks like with lights off. Also interesting to see, isn't it? Now to the trunk or the boot. We have an electric hatch here available. Now at 465 liters, that's 20 liters more than before. See here, this one also fits in vertically. And here we have a meter or 40 inches in width, also between the wheel arches. Let me give you some more light here. I put out this cover here. Always have to apply a certain force to it, right? And then here, the normal length is about 80 centimeters or 31 inches. And the height here at 25 inches or 63 centimeters. Then underneath here, there could also be replacement tire, I would guess, by the space. This is the subwoofer, and then you can also use these here, and then you can put the lower floor up like this. It's also practical when you want to put things, you know, from below up and so on. Then we also have a towing hook available. This is like the semi-autonomous, semi-auto function. Here, and pull it right there and click it again. And then you can store it again, up to 2 tons of towing, but that one is only then with the 2-liter TSI that will be coming up later or end of 2026 with the all-wheel-drive lower towing than for the 1.5 engines. Here, by the way, you can also only fold the ski hatch. That's possible. Other than that, you could also fold it 1/3, 2/3, usually from the rear, unless the top cover is gone, like now. And then here, the length to the seats, as I would be driving, is about 61 inches or 1.55 meters. I'm really looking forward to drive this one here very soon, because there will be so much variation in the engine, like the mild hybrids. How will the true inbuilt hybrids perform? And of course, looking forward to drive the R. It has always been a thing with the T-Roc that it drove very sporty, very agile. That was actually pretty cool. Is it now a small Tiguan? Honestly, I would say no, because you do feel in a lot of different elements that the Tiguan is still way more sophisticated, especially from the interior. So yes, from the exterior and also from the now smaller length difference, it might suggest a small Tiguan. But definitely in the interior, the Tiguan is still a level above that. And I mean, yeah, it's also more cost intensive, because this one here will be round about 30 to 50,000 euros. So you will be somewhere between that spectrum when you have some spec in there. And we'll of course keep you updated when we drive this one then with the final prices. And when you recently saw our videos with the Tiguan, when you go full spec Tiguan, you can reach like 75,000 euros for a well-spec Tiguan. So especially then looking forward to the driving difference between the T-Roc in the new generation and the Tiguan. But so far, I mean, there will find its fans, because the T-Roc has been one of the most successful cars overall for Volkswagen in the past year. So looking forward to see how this one will work with you. Tell me in the comments. And now check out the direct internal comparator, the Cupra Formentor. Or do you maybe still want to go with the Tiguan?